You're listening to the SoleStrategies podcast with your hosts Z. Cohen Sanchez and Chris Abramson. If you're running for office or thinking about it, you're in the right place. We hope you enjoy the latest episode and thanks for tuning in.
Cool. Awesome. So guys, again, thank you so much for jumping on. I am really excited to talk to you guys all about what we do, who we are, a little bit about our personal story, and about what you can expect, following us, and why you should turn on that notification button right now, because we have some really exciting stuff coming up for everybody. So let me just start with telling you guys a little bit about my personal story, why I decided to start SoleStrategies, and how we sort of got to this place in wanting to help candidates. So as I said earlier, my name is Z. I'm the owner and director of SoleStrategies, and I started in politics about 10 years ago or so, but I didn't really take anything super seriously, or I wasn't really paying attention until around 2016, or a little bit before that, around 2015, when Bernie decided to run for president for the first time. I was really interested in people-powered movements. That was a big part of what I studied in college. It was really exciting. Also, sorry about any background noise. I'm at my place, so real-time background noise. But so it was something that I was really interested in and something that I really cared about. I really wanted to get involved. And so I was lucky enough to get to go and do work for Sanders' campaign up in Virginia. And what that really proved to me was that, the progressive message and the message of people-powered politics was not just something that was, just for people living in big cities like New York or LA or San Francisco, that this was something that people were interested in hearing about all across this country, in places that are our heartland in America. Particularly in the Midwest. I had a lot of friends that were working for Bernie's campaign in other states, especially in the Deep South, and were telling me how people were really gravitating to his message and gravitating to this new way of politics, and it was a really exciting time. And as you guys know, 2016 didn't work out very well. I shouldn't say that, because 2016 did work out in the fact that as progressives, we were really able to start this, this people-powered movement that we hadn't seen in American politics before. And so in that way, it was a win. But unfortunately, we had, party insiders that are making it really difficult for us and continue to do so. So right around after Bernie lost, I took a little bit, and then in 2017, well, actually mid 2016 and 2017, right after I stopped working for Bernie, I was able to get involved in some city council races in New York, and we were able to flip 5 seats progressive, which was super exciting. So the tactics that we had learned from working in the Bernie campaign, the field operations, the messaging, the fundraising, was something that we were able to bring over to city council, which was really, really exciting. And from there, I sort of figured that, we could do this not just in city council, but we could do this all over this country. And we could do it with races even as high up as Congress or Senate. There was really no sort of place where it had to end. We could really do this work. And so in 2018, I decided to leave my job, and we traveled across the country. I actually lost my job, unfortunately, due to Janus. I work in labor, so if anybody's not familiar with the Janus decision, it was something that really affected a lot of labor unions. And I took that opportunity to travel the country and to really work on progressive campaigns and to work on other campaigns, even non-progressive campaigns, just so that I could see how campaigns worked and how they didn't work and why they didn't work, which is really, really important to not just figure out what is working, but find out what is not working and why it's not working. And during that time, I had a lot of really good friends that were working on AOC's campaign, who back then was just known as Alex. And I was really interested in this campaign because I was thinking to myself, I was very aware of how the party politics were in New York, and I was aware that, it was really, really difficult. A lot of people think of New York as a progressive mecca, and in many ways it is, because we have a lot of working class people that are very politically active. But at the same time, we have a lot of party politics that takes over. I mean, Wall Street is in New York for a reason. We have the Cuomo dynasty. There's a lot of things that sort of keep the people power out, which is really, it's tough. So I knew that Alex had a lot up against her. I knew that Joe Crowley was the leader of the Democratic Party in Queens, and that it was going to be a really, really tough race. But if we ran it strategically, if the money was raised, and if ultimately we had excellent field operations, messaging, social media, that it was a winnable race. And it was. And that was really sort of a turning point where it was like, you know what? It's not just city council. It's not just, now we can actually win congressional seats. We've proved that this is possible. And as you guys know, that year, Ilhan Omar ran and won her race, and other progressives too, all across the country, were able to run and win. And not just in Congress, but in lower levels of government too, which a lot of people don't pay attention to, but was there. And that was something that was so exciting. So that summer, I also got to work on a couple of state Senate races that we were able to flip those seats progressive too, from really entrenched incumbents. And so I decided that this was something that I wanted to be able to teach other candidates how to do. And I sort of took a long time and was thinking to myself, you know, we have all these progressives running, but not all of them are winning. Why aren't they winning? And what it really boiled down to was that they weren't able to raise money, or not a significant amount of money that they needed to be able to have great field operations, great messaging, excellent social media. And so without those things, it was next to impossible to be able to win those races. And so I thought for a long time. I reached out to a lot of people. I have friends in all sorts of areas of politics. I have friends that are in advertising, that are excellent social media people, all these things, but I couldn't find anybody that was a good fundraiser. And so I thought to myself, you know, if we're really going to change the political game, we need to offer excellent fundraising and help candidates to raise that money so that they are able to run excellent campaigns. And I'm not just talking about the let's pay $500 and get our name on the ballot. I'm not talking about those kind of campaigns. I'm not interested in running those kind of campaigns. I'm talking about taking out entrenched incumbents and doing that in a really big way. Those are the type of campaigns that I'm talking about. So all in this to say is I spent a lot of time reading, a lot of time absorbing information from some of the top fundraisers. And by the way, they're not all Democrats. In fact, a lot of really fantastic fundraisers are Republicans, and there's no reason why we shouldn't take some of their tips as well, just from, you know, obviously I'm not a Republican, but there is a reason why they're raising money, and they're able to raise as much money as they're able to raise. I mean, if you look even in lower level seats, Republicans are out raising Democrats almost all the time. And so we're really trying to dig in and figure out, what are they doing that's different? And how can we teach our candidates to do that and do it successfully, and be able to hire staff and hire the field operations that they need, and have excellent social media and excellent messaging, and be able to run their campaign and win their campaign. And so that's exactly what I did. I absorbed a lot of information. I started working with candidates, and all in all, we were able to figure out some really key resources that were going to be able to help us to raise this money. And so that is essentially what SoleStrategies does. So for those of you guys who don't know me personally, and I'm sure many of you guys don't, I ran a field operations business for 3 years, and that's all we did. We just did field operations, and we're really, really good at it. We understand how to look at a community and really focus on the data and focus on our win number and figure out where do we need to hit in order to get the votes that we need to win this race. And we did that really, really well. In fact, we've mastered that almost all over the country at this point. But what we weren't able to help with was if the candidate that we loved didn't have the money to pay for those field operations, there was nothing we could do. We had to walk away. And that was something that was really painful for us because we want to be able to help progressives and we want to be able to help Democrats and independents. Somebody had actually messaged me asking, are we willing to help independents? And like, absolutely. We would love to. We have worked with independents and we'll continue to work with independent candidates. But, you know, we weren't able to do anything for them if they didn't have $50,000, $100,000 to run a field operation. So now we do have coaching sessions, we have call time managers, we have the resources to be able to teach candidates how to raise that money effectively. Now, you might ask, well, you know, if you read it, why can't I read it? Why can't I do the work and figure it out myself? And you probably could if you spent enough time reading, understanding, absorbing information, going across the country multiple times, working on races, seeing what works, what didn't work. You could probably work it out too. But the reality is that most people don't have that time, and why would you want to anyway, right? I mean, if your goal is to run for office, that's what you should be focused on, and you should leave it to us to help you to learn how to fundraise effectively and get that money that you need to be able to hire your staff, to get boots on the ground, and to really make it happen. So essentially, that's the short version of our story and why we love to do what we do, because we are in this awesome position where, you know, if a candidate comes to us and they say, you know what, I've been thinking about running for office. I really don't know if I should run for office. I don't know much about where I'm running. We're able to help, especially if you've never fundraised before. This is really critical. I can't stress to you enough how many times I've seen candidates jump into this and start hiring a staff, self-funding, doing all of these things, and eventually, and I hate to break it to everybody that, you know, I'm sure that there are plenty of people that can self-fund their campaigns, but self-funding a campaign is just not enough unless you're a millionaire and unless you have $1 million to put towards your campaign. $100,000, $200,000 is not enough to win your campaign, and not sustainable either. You really need to be able, you got to do the hard work, you got to raise the money. So if you're interested in learning more, like the longer version of our story and why we decided to get into this, please go check out my personal Facebook page, because I did a live 2 days ago on why I decided to do this, and the longer version of why I decided to do this, and why I think it's so critical and so important, especially right now in the political climate that we're in. It's absolutely essential that we have young people running, that we have working class people running. And again, you don't need to be a millionaire to run for office. As long as you learn how to raise the money and you learn how to raise it effectively, that's all you need. And that's what our expertise is. So I just wanted to give you guys that short intro and let you guys know that we are going to be going live multiple times a week, because one of the things that we truly believe in at SoleStrategies is that we believe that a lot of this education should be free and accessible to you. If you're running for office, if you're truly considering running for office, the free education is probably not going to be enough. I'm just going to be honest with you. But if you are just interested in learning how to do some basic fundraising, the free education is going to be great. We're going to have a lot of people on our lives from all different expertise areas, social media, field operations, fundraising, and more importantly than that, we're going to have opportunities for you guys to be asking us questions, which is really a really great resource to be able to have at your fingertips, to just be able to ask us questions about whatever you're sort of thinking about. So that's sort of the kickoff here. So we would love you guys so much if you could turn on your notifications button. That's super important because you want to know when we're going live. We're not going to have a particular schedule at first, just because it's going to be based on our staff schedules and when people can go live, and also guests and things like that. So if you throw on your notifications button, you will always know when we're going to be going live. And also, I would love to share with you guys that on our website right now, we have a freebie, which is really exciting. So if you go to our website right now, sole.strategies.com, and you put in your email address and you sign up for our email list, you're going to get a PDF sent to you, a checklist PDF of the top 7 top 7 tips for raising your first $10,000, which is really, really essential. It's the basics, it's the foundation for what you need to be able to start really understanding this work. So again, go onto our website, check it out. It's going to be sole-strategies.com. Put in your email and you'll get that freebie sent to you. So guys, thank you guys so much. I'm super excited to jump on live with you guys again, probably on Monday, to start going through some of the basics with you guys on fundraising and other campaign tips as well. So again, thanks guys, and I hope to talk with you all soon.